The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor, but nobody heard it. They were all staring at the photograph on my phone, the one I'd sworn I'd never show another living soul. My sister's face had gone from smug to ghost white in exactly 2 seconds. Her husband didn't even look at her before he turned and walked straight out the front door. The slam echoed through the ballroom like a gunshot. "Wait," my sister whispered, reaching for me. "You can't." I pulled my phone back, smiled, and raised my voice so everyone could hear. "Oh, but I can, Vanessa." And I just did. "My name is Claire Ashford, and 30 minutes ago, I was engaged to the love of my life. 30 minutes ago, I thought my older sister would finally be happy for me. 30 minutes ago, I didn't know that some betrayals run so deep they rewire your entire understanding of family. Let me back up to where this really started. 6 months before tonight, before the ballroom, and the champagne and the photo that ended a marriage that wasn't mine. I met David Thornton at a hospital fundraiser. I was there representing my consulting firm, wearing a dress I'd saved 3 months to afford. He was there because his family's name was literally engraved on the building. We ended up at the same hors d'oeuvres table, both reaching for the last crab cake. "Go ahead," he said, pulling back. "We could split it," I suggested. He laughed. "That's the most depressing thing I've heard all night. Let's get out of here and find real food." We went to a taco truck at midnight. He was wearing a $3,000 suit, eating street tacos like he hadn't seen food in weeks. I found out he ran his family's investment firm. He found out I was a senior consultant who'd worked her way up from nothing. No trust fund, no safety net. Just student loans and 70-hour weeks. "That's impressive," he said. "That's necessity," I replied. He looked at me differently after that. Like he saw something real. We fell in love fast, the kind of love that feels inevitable, like every choice you'd ever made was leading you to this exact person. He proposed 4 months later at the same taco truck. Nothing fancy. Just him, me, and a ring that cost more than my car. "Marry me, Claire. Not because I can take care of you, but because I can't imagine my life without you taking care of yourself right beside me." I said yes before he finished the sentence. My sister was the first person I called. "He proposed." I screamed into the phone. "Vanessa, I'm getting married." There was a pause, just long enough for my excitement to crack slightly. "That's wonderful," she finally said. Her voice was flat. "Really wonderful, Claire. You've done very well for yourself." Something in those words felt wrong, but I ignored it. This was my sister. My only sibling. The person who'd braided my hair and taught me to drive and held me when our parents died in that car accident 7 years ago. She loved me. Or so I thought. The engagement party was Vanessa's idea. She insisted on hosting it at the Riverside Ballroom, insisted on handling all the details. "You've been working so hard," she said sweetly. "Let me do this for you. It's what sisters do." Her husband Marcus stood behind her, nodding. "We want to celebrate you both properly." Marcus had always been quiet, successful in commercial real estate, conventionally handsome, and completely devoted to Vanessa. They'd been married 8 years. No kids. Vanessa said they were waiting for the right time. They lived in a beautiful colonial in the suburbs, drove matching luxury SUVs, and seemed to have everything figured out. David squeezed my hand. "If it makes you happy, let them host." It made me happy. I thought it meant Vanessa was finally past whatever weird energy I'd sensed on the phone. I thought it meant she was genuinely excited for me. I started noticing the small things 2 weeks before the party. "So David's family is really wealthy, right?" Vanessa asked over coffee. We were at her house, planning centerpieces. His family built their wealth over generations. "Yeah. And he's the only son, so he'll inherit everything." I looked up from the flower samples. I guess. We don't really talk about that stuff. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Of course not. You love him for who he is, not his bank account. Obviously. Obviously, she repeated. It's just lucky, isn't it? That you happen to fall in love with someone who can provide such a comfortable life. Something cold slithered down my spine. Vanessa, what are you suggesting? Nothing. She reached over and patted my hand. I'm just saying you're fortunate. After everything you've been through, the loans, the tiny apartment, all those years struggling, you must be relieved. I'm relieved because I found someone I love. The rest is just the rest. Sure, she said. Of course. But her smile said something different. The comments continued. Little digs wrapped in sisterly concern. Make sure you sign a prenup. You wouldn't want anyone thinking you're a gold digger. David's mother must love that her son is marrying someone so ambitious. It's amazing how love can change your circumstances, isn't it? I tried talking to David about it. Your sister seems tense, he said carefully. Is everything okay between you two? I don't know. She's being weird about money. About your money. He frowned. Does she need financial help? Marcus's business has been struggling. I heard some things through colleagues. We could offer. No. I cut him off. Absolutely not. If she needs help, she'll ask. But now pieces were clicking into place. The subtle resentment, the comments about comfort and security. Vanessa and Marcus were struggling financially. And here I was, marrying into wealth. David pulled me close. Whatever's going on with your sister, we'll handle it together. She's family. She loves you. I believed him. God help me, I believed him. The night of the engagement party, I wore a white cocktail dress and diamond earrings David had given me. Vanessa wore red, blood red, and a smile that should have warned me. But I was too happy to see it. The ballroom looked perfect. White roses everywhere, string lights casting everything in warm gold. A jazz quartet playing in the corner. 200 guests. David's business associates, his family, my friends, our colleagues. Everyone who mattered. Vanessa had outdone herself. I found her near the bar and hugged her. This is beautiful. Thank you for doing this. She hugged me back, but her body was rigid. Anything for my little sister. You deserve this. All of this. Marcus appeared with champagne. To the happy couple. May you have everything you've ever wanted. He was looking at me strangely. Not quite angry, but not warm either. I dismissed it. Maybe the financial stress David mentioned was worse than we thought. David's mother cornered me within the first hour. Claire, darling, you look lovely. That dress must have cost a fortune. Actually, I got it on sale. No need to be modest. David spoils you, as he should. You've brought such vitality to his life. The way she said vitality felt like code for something less flattering. We spoil each other, I said firmly. She smiled. Of course. It's just wonderful that you two found each other, especially given your different backgrounds. I excused myself before I said something I'd regret. David found me on the terrace, gripping the railing. My mother being difficult? Is everyone going to treat me like I won the lottery by being with you? He turned me to face him. The only lottery involved is me convincing you to say yes. Everyone else can think whatever they want. He kissed me, and for a moment, everything else faded away. Then Vanessa's voice cut through the music. Can I have everyone's attention? We turned. She was standing in the center of the ballroom, microphone in hand, that red dress catching every light. Marcus stood several feet away from her, his face carefully blank. I want to make a toast, Vanessa announced, to my baby sister Claire and her fiancé David. Everyone raised their glasses. I smiled, expecting the standard sweet sister speech. Claire and I have been through so much together. Lost our parents young, built lives from nothing. She's worked so incredibly hard. 70-hour weeks, student loans, that tiny studio apartment she refused to let anyone visit. My smile started to freeze. Where was this going? And now she's marrying David Thornton, of the Thornton family, the Thornton fortune, the Thornton empire. She paused, letting it sink in. It's really quite the upgrade, isn't it? Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. David's hand tightened on mine. Vanessa, I warned quietly. She ignored me. I mean, who wouldn't want to marry into all this? She gestured around the ballroom. The money, the security, the lifestyle. It's like winning the lottery, just like David's mother said. My face burned. She'd heard that conversation. But the thing about my sister, Vanessa continued, her voice taking on a sharp edge, is that she's always been very good at recognizing opportunities, very strategic, very calculating. The room went silent. Even the jazz quartet stopped playing. "What are you doing?" I asked, my voice barely audible. She looked right at me, smiled, and said the words that detonated everything. "She's broke, David. Completely broke, drowning in debt. She saw you coming from a mile away." The ballroom erupted in whispers. I stood frozen, my brain unable to process what was happening. My sister, my only family, was sabotaging my engagement party in front of 200 people. David dropped my hand. "That's not—" I started, turning to him. But Vanessa wasn't finished. She walked toward us, her heels clicking against the marble with the rhythm of a countdown. "Did she tell you about the credit card debt, David? $40,000? Did she mention the personal loans? The fact that she's 3 months behind on her car payment? That her consulting firm is downsizing and she's on the list to be let go?" "Stop it," I whispered. "Please stop." "Why would I stop? Someone needs to tell your fiancé the truth. You're using him for money. You've been using him from the moment you met. A man like David Thornton doesn't end up at a taco truck by accident. You researched him. You planned it." The lies were mixing with just enough truth to make them believable. Yes, I had debt. Student loans like millions of people. Yes, my car payment had been late twice during a rough month. But planning to meet David? Using him? "None of that is true," I said, my voice shaking. "David, you know me. You know that's not who I am." I looked up at him, waiting for him to defend me, waiting for him to shut this down. His face was unreadable, cold in a way I'd never seen. "Is the debt real?" he asked quietly. "I have student loans." "Yes, but 40,000 in credit cards?" "No, Vanessa is lying." "Then why would she say it?" His voice was rising now. "Why would your own sister stand up here and lie about you?" "I don't know." Tears were streaming down my face. "But she is. David, please, you know me." He took a step back. I thought I did. The room was watching us like we were a performance. David's mother had her hand over her mouth. His business partners were exchanging knowing looks. Everyone was believing it. Every single person was believing my sister over me. "David," I pleaded, "don't do this. Don't let her do this." He looked at me one more time. I saw something flicker in his eyes. Doubt, hurt, or maybe just embarrassment at the scene we were creating. Then he nodded once, like he'd made a decision, and walked away. He walked straight through the ballroom, past the roses and the champagne and the string lights, and out the main entrance. I heard his car start in the parking lot, heard him drive away from me. I didn't chase him. Every instinct screamed at me to run after him, to explain, to beg. But something else was building in my chest. Something cold and sharp and utterly rage-filled. I turned to look at my sister. She was smiling. Actually smiling like she'd just won something. Why? I asked. Why would you do this? Because you don't deserve him. You don't deserve any of this. You've always gotten everything so easily. Easily? The word came out like a slap. I worked for everything I have. Every single thing. You worked your way into David's bed, you mean? Into his bank account. Vanessa's mask was fully off now. Do you know what it's like to watch your younger sister land a billionaire while you're struggling to keep your house? While your husband's business is failing and you're taking out second mortgages just to maintain appearances? So that's what this is about. You're jealous. I'm realistic. You were never supposed to end up with more than me. I'm the older sister. I'm the one who sacrificed for you after Mom and Dad died. I'm the one who deserves the easier life. Marcus stepped forward then, his face tight. Vanessa, that's enough. Let's go home. No. She shook him off. She needs to understand. She needs to know that some people don't get fairy tale endings just because they want them. Some of us have to work for every scrap, and even then. Your house is paid off, I interrupted. My voice was steady now, cold as ice. Marcus's business is thriving. You drive a Range Rover. You vacation in Europe twice a year. What exactly are you struggling with, Vanessa? She laughed. You think you know everything about my life? About my marriage? I know you're a liar. I know you just destroyed my engagement because you're bitter and small and you couldn't stand to see me happy. You're not happy. You're delusional. David was always going to find out the truth about you. I just accelerated the timeline. The guests were still watching. Phones out now, recording everything. This would be all over social media within the hour. The consultant who tried to trap a billionaire. The gold digger exposed by her own sister. My entire life was imploding in real time, but I was done being the victim in this story. I pulled out my phone. My hand was steady despite the adrenaline screaming through my veins. You want to talk about truth, Vanessa? Let's talk about truth. What are you doing? Her voice cracked slightly. Something I should have done the moment you opened your mouth. I scrolled through my photos, found the one I needed. 6 months ago, I was having lunch downtown. I saw someone who looked like Marcus coming out of the Riverside Hotel in the middle of the day. With a woman who definitely wasn't you. Marcus's face went white. I told myself I was wrong, that I'd misidentified him, but then I saw them again 2 weeks later. Same hotel, same woman. So I did what any concerned sister would do. I followed them. I took photos. I hired a private investigator to confirm what I was seeing. Claire, don't. Marcus's voice was barely a whisper. Why not? My sister just eviscerated me in front of everyone I know. Fair's fair, right? I held up my phone. The photo was clear as day. Marcus and a blonde woman, younger than Vanessa by at least 10 years, kissing in the parking lot of that hotel. His hand was on her lower back. Her hand was in his hair. The room exploded with gasps and murmurs. Vanessa snatched at my phone, but I pulled it away. There are 50 more where that came from, I said. Dated and time-stamped. The investigators' report details 16 separate encounters over 5 months, every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. The Riverside Hotel, room 417. Her name is Jessica. She works at Marcus's company, in case you were wondering. Vanessa turned to Marcus, her face contorted with shock and rage. Tell me she's lying. Tell me this is fake. Marcus didn't say anything. He just stood there, looking at the floor, his entire body radiating guilt. Marcus! Vanessa screamed. Look at me. He finally raised his eyes. I'm sorry. 2 words. That's all he gave her. 2 words that confirmed everything. Vanessa made a sound like she'd been physically struck. She lunged at him, but he was already moving, backing toward the exit. Don't you dare walk away from me, Vanessa hissed. Don't you dare? I'm sorry, he said again. I can't do this. Not here. Not now. And just like David had minutes before, Marcus Callahan walked out of that ballroom. The slam of the door was even louder this time. Vanessa stood in the center of the room, her red dress suddenly looking less like power and more like blood. Her carefully constructed mask had shattered, leaving behind something raw and broken. "You knew," she whispered, turning to me. "You knew for 6 months and you didn't tell me." "I didn't tell you because you're my sister and I didn't want to hurt you. I was trying to figure out how to tell you without destroying you." I stepped closer to her. "But then, you decided to destroy me instead. So here we are. This is different." "How? How is this different, Vanessa?" "You humiliated me publicly because you were jealous. I revealed the truth because you forced my hand. You want to talk about betrayal? You just ended my engagement to get revenge for a life you think I don't deserve. At least I was protecting you. By letting my husband cheat on me?" Her voice broke. "That's protection." "By trying to find the right way to tell you. The right time. The right words that wouldn't completely shatter you. But apparently, that kind of consideration is something you don't understand." She was crying now, mascara running down her face. The guests were a blur of shocked expressions and raised phones. This was the scandal of the decade in our social circle. David's mother appeared beside me. "I think we should end this party. Clear the room." "Good idea," I said, not taking my eyes off my sister. "Though the damage is already done." Vanessa looked at me with pure hatred. "You've always been selfish. Always thought you were better than me. This just proves it." "No, Vanessa. This proves that you're capable of cruelty I never imagined. That you'd rather see me destroyed than happy. That's who you really are?" "I'm your sister." "Not anymore." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Vanessa flinched as if I'd slapped her. "You don't mean that," she whispered. "I've never meant anything more in my life. You're dead to me." Security started ushering guests out. The party was officially over. People filed past us, some looking sympathetic, most looking thrilled to have witnessed such spectacular drama. I'd be the talk of every dinner party for months. Vanessa grabbed my arm. "Claire, please, I made a mistake. I was angry and jealous, and I said terrible things. But you can't just—" I yanked my arm away. "You didn't make a mistake. Mistakes are accidental. You planned this. You chose this. You stood up in front of everyone and called me a gold digger because you couldn't handle the fact that I found something good. Something real. It wasn't real. He walked away from you." The words hit harder than I expected. She was right. David had walked away. He'd believed her lies over my truth. He hadn't even given me a chance to explain. "You're right," I said quietly. "He did walk away. Maybe that means he never loved me enough to begin with. Or maybe it means you're so convincing in your cruelty that you can make even the people who love me doubt everything. Either way, you got what you wanted." "I didn't want this." "Yes, you did. You wanted me brought down. You wanted me to feel small. You wanted me to lose everything because you're losing everything. Well, congratulations, Vanessa. You win." The ballroom was almost empty now. Just us, a few staff members cleaning up, and David's mother hovering near the exit. "Where will you go?" Vanessa asked, her voice small. "Away from you." "Claire, we're family. We only have each other." "We had each other." Past tense. You murdered that tonight. I started walking toward the exit. My heels clicked on the marble where my champagne glass had shattered earlier. One of the staff was sweeping up the pieces. "What about the photos?" Vanessa called after me. "What are you going to do with them?" I stopped but didn't turn around. "I'm going to send them to you. Every single one. So you can see exactly what your husband was doing while you were planning my destruction. What you do with them after that is your problem." "And the investigators' report?" "That too. Consider it a gift. The truth you deserve, since apparently honesty is something we're all about now. I heard her sob behind me. Part of me wanted to turn around, to comfort her like I'd done 1,000 times before. When our parents died, when she was stressed about her wedding, when life got hard and she needed her little sister. But that sister was gone. She died tonight in this ballroom, murdered by betrayal and cruelty wrapped in sibling rivalry. David's mother met me at the door. "Are you all right, dear?" "No. But I will be. David will come around, once he's had time to think. If he comes around, it'll be too late." He should have believed me. He should have defended me. Instead, he ran. That tells me everything I need to know. She looked sad. Sometimes people make terrible decisions in moments of shock. Sometimes terrible decisions reveal true character. I walked out into the night air. The parking lot was mostly empty now. My car sat under a streetlight looking small and ordinary compared to all the luxury vehicles that had been here earlier. My phone buzzed. Text messages flooding in. Friends who'd been at the party. Colleagues who'd already seen videos online. Everyone had an opinion, but only one message mattered. From David. "We need to talk. Not tonight. Tomorrow. Please." I stared at those words for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond immediately, to explain everything, to beg him to listen. But a larger part, the part that was still burning with rage and hurt, wanted to make him wait. Wanted him to feel even a fraction of the abandonment I'd felt when he walked away. I turned off my phone and drove home. My apartment, the tiny studio Vanessa had mocked, felt like a sanctuary. I locked the door, kicked off my heels, and sat on the floor with my back against the wall. Everything was silent except for the sound of my own breathing. I'd lost my fiancé tonight. I'd lost my sister. I'd lost the future I'd been planning. And I'd done it all in spectacular fashion in front of 200 witnesses. But I'd also done something else. I'd refused to be destroyed quietly. I'd refused to let Vanessa's lies become my truth. I'd fought back. Maybe that was worth something. The knock on my door came at midnight. I knew who it was before I opened it. David stood in my hallway, still wearing his suit from the party, looking exhausted and lost. "You said tomorrow," I said, not moving to let him in. I couldn't wait. "Claire, I'm so sorry. I panicked. I heard what she said and I couldn't think straight." "So you ran?" "Yes, I ran. And I spent the last 3 hours driving around realizing what an idiot I am." He ran his hand through his hair. "Your sister said those things and everyone was watching, and all I could think was that my mother was right. That people were going to say you were using me, that maybe I'd been blind." "Stop." He stopped. "You thought I was using you. You actually believed, even for a second, that everything between us was fake." "I didn't want to believe it. But you did. That's the problem, David. When it mattered most, when I needed you to know who I am without question, you doubted me. I know, and I hate myself for it. Claire, please, I love you. That's the only thing I'm sure of right now. Love isn't enough if there's no trust. Then let me earn it back. Let me prove to you that I can be the man you deserve, the man who doesn't run when things get hard." I looked at him, really looked at him. He was sincere, devastated. Everything I'd wanted to see when Vanessa was destroying me on that stage, but he was also 3 hours too late. "I don't know if I can forgive this," I said honestly. "I'm not asking you to forgive me tonight. I'm asking you to let me try." He took a step closer. "Claire, I've spent my entire life around people who want something from me. Money, connections, status. You were the first person who saw me as just me. When I heard what your sister said, every insecurity I've ever had came flooding back. I should have been stronger. I should have trusted what we have, but I failed you. Yes, you did. So let me make it right. Please. I wanted to. God, I wanted to let him in, to fall into his arms and pretend the last few hours hadn't happened. But something had broken tonight that couldn't be fixed with apologies. What Vanessa did was unforgivable, I said. But what you did hurt worse, because I expected betrayal from her. I'd seen the jealousy building. But you, I trusted you completely, and you threw that away because of what someone else said. I know. Do you? Do you really understand what that means? It means that our entire relationship was built on something fragile. It means that the next time someone whispers in your ear about my motives, you might believe them too. It means I'll never feel completely safe with you again. His face crumpled. Don't say that. Please don't say that. I'm not saying I won't try. I'm saying I don't know if I can. That's the truth, David. The honest, painful truth. We stood there in my doorway, the silence heavy between us. What happened with your sister? He finally asked. After I left? I showed everyone the photos of Marcus cheating on her. Her husband walked out just like you did. So we both ended the night alone and betrayed. David's eyes widened. You knew about Marcus? For 6 months. I was trying to figure out how to tell her without destroying her. Turns out she had no such qualms about destroying me. I'm so sorry. About all of it. Everyone's sorry tonight. But sorry doesn't undo what happened. My phone, which I'd turned back on when I got home, buzzed again. I glanced at it. Another message from Vanessa. I know what I did was unforgivable. I know you'll never speak to me again. But I need you to know that I do love you. I always have. I just couldn't handle watching you have everything I wanted. That's not an excuse. It's just the truth. I'm broken, Claire. I've been broken for a long time, and tonight I tried to break you too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I showed David the message. Are you going to respond? He asked. No. There's nothing to say. She made her choice. Now she has to live with it. And what about me? What's my sentence? I looked at him for a long moment. The man I'd planned to marry. The man who'd walked away from me when I needed him most. I need time. Real time. Not a few hours of regret, but actual time to figure out if we can survive this. How much time? I don't know. Maybe weeks. Maybe months. Maybe forever. I'll wait, David said immediately. However long it takes. I'll wait. Don't put your life on hold for me. That's not fair to either of us. My life is on hold without you. That's what I realized driving around tonight. Everything I want involves you. The future I see includes you. If that means waiting while you figure out if you can trust me again, then I'll wait. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe that we could recover from this. That love could overcome doubt and betrayal and all the ugliness that had been exposed tonight. But I'd learned something important in that ballroom. I'd learned that I didn't need saving, didn't need someone to complete me or rescue me or make my life make sense. I'd stood alone in front of 200 people and fought back against lies and cruelty, and I'd done it without anyone's help. Maybe that's who I was meant to be. Alone, but unbroken. Go home, David. Get some sleep. We'll talk in a few days. Claire, please, I can't do this anymore tonight. I'm exhausted and heartbroken, and I just need to be alone. He nodded slowly. Okay, but I'm not giving up on us. I want you to know that. I know. He leaned forward like he might kiss me, then thought better of it. Instead, he touched my face gently. I love you. That's the one thing that's not in question. Then he left, and I was finally, completely alone. I closed the door and slid down to sit on the floor again. My phone kept buzzing with messages. Friends, family members I barely spoke to. Even a few reporters who'd somehow gotten my number. Everyone wanted a piece of the story. Everyone wanted to know the truth behind the viral videos that were probably spreading across social media right now. But the truth was complicated. The truth was that my sister's jealousy had poisoned something beautiful. That my fiancé's doubt had exposed a crack in our foundation. That revenge felt hollow even when it was justified. That family could hurt you worse than strangers because they knew exactly where to strike. I pulled up the photos of Marcus one more time, sent them all to Vanessa like I'd promised. Then I deleted them from my phone. I didn't need them anymore. They'd served their purpose. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Ms. Ashford? This is Catherine Winters from the New York Tribune. I'd love to get your side of what happened tonight. I hung up. Blocked the number. Tomorrow, I'd deal with the fallout. Tomorrow, I'd figure out what to do about David, about work, about the videos and the gossip and the wreckage of my life. Tomorrow, I'd start rebuilding. But tonight, I sat in my tiny studio apartment, the one I'd earned through 70-hour weeks and student loans and pure, stubborn determination, and I let myself feel everything. The betrayal, the rage, the grief. And underneath it all, something else. Something that felt a lot like strength. I'd survived tonight. Whatever came next, I'd survive that too. The champagne glass might have shattered, but I was still standing, and that was enough.